like this? I've been on the ground like this, like this, like this. Do you like this? Don't nobody do you like this, like this, like this. This is my shit. You be like, this about as good as it gets. Do it like this. Do it like this.
Alright, yo people, welcome back to another video on my channel. And guys, today I'm bringing you guys a tutorial, something different, just because you guys always ask for tutorials and I never deliver them. So today I want to teach you guys how to change your bottom bracket on a C100 Pro and any other bike that has a Holotech bottom bracket just like mine. Mine was an XT1, but today I'm putting a new XT1 on there because my one's been on there for about a year now and it needs to be changed. But guys, before I start this video, make sure you guys drop a like on this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on, because see this video, it's going to be very helpful to you guys. It's going to teach you guys a lot. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so before we get into the mechanical side of this video, these are 3 reasons why you should replace your bottom bracket. Reason 1, maybe your bottom bracket has a crack in it. So usually, sometimes the bearing inside the bottom bracket is cracked, stopping your bottom bracket from actually working properly. So this won't be able to spin, it will just be stuck there. So that would be because there's a crack in the bearing inside the bottom bracket, so that definitely needs to be changed. Alright guys, so the second reason you might want to change your bottom bracket is just because it's not running smoothly and it's making noises. Now guys, most of the time you don't have to replace your bottom bracket because you can just add some bearing grease and it'll all be fine. But some cases you do have to change your bottom bracket, so that's the second reason why you might have to change your bottom bracket. Now guys, the third reason why you might want to change your bottom bracket is because there's thread damage to the bottom bracket or your frame. Now guys, if there's thread damage to your frame, you do not have to replace your frame, you can get it rethreaded. But if there's damage to the threads on your bottom bracket, you can just replace the bottom bracket, and sometimes it won't mess up your frame, but that's only sometimes if you're lucky. But yeah guys, you will know if there's damage to the threads of your bottom bracket just because this bit here or the other bit over there will move around. You'll be able to move it around with your hand. See my one, you can't move it around. If there's damage to the threads, you'll be able to move that around, and that's not a good situation at all. But yeah guys, they are the 3 reasons why you might want to change your bottom bracket. But that's enough of that, let's get straight into the video. Alright guys, so now we got that bit of the video out of the way, I'm going to be showing you what you need today to change your bottom bracket. The first thing you're obviously going to need is a new bottom bracket. Now guys, this is the size for a C100 Pro. See this one here? That is what you need to get for the C100 Pro. Now guys, I highly recommend XT bottom bracket just because they run the smoothest and they literally never have any problems. I'm just changing mine because, you know, I've had mine for a year, so it needs changing. But yeah, usually you don't have to change them. You don't really have to change them a lot. You might want to change them every year though, just because they do start running like all crappy and not smooth, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is the size you want to get if you have a C100 Pro. It's the BBMT800. It's the XT bottom bracket. You can get it from Chain Reaction Cycles or anywhere else. It doesn't have to be Chain Reaction Cycles. But yeah guys, moving on from that, these are some other things you're going to need for this video. So the first thing you're going to need is obviously a set of Allen keys. Now guys, you're not going to use all of these Allen keys on this set, but it's good to have a set of Allen keys with you just in case. You're also going to need some bearing grease. Now guys, you 100% need this, so don't go without it because you're going to need this 100%, otherwise your bottom bracket, yeah, it's going to thread your frame if you don't use this. So yeah, high performance bearing grease. It can be any grease, but I recommend this one. You're also going to need a bottom bracket tool with this little thing on here. This is for the compression bolt, and obviously a mallet or a hammer will be very helpful in this video just because, you know, the cranks are on there pretty tight, so you're going to have to hit them off, you know what I'm saying, use some force on it. But yeah guys, that's all you're going to need for this video, so let's get straight into it. The first thing you guys are going to want to do is flip your bike upside down so it's easier to work on. Alright guys, so now your bike's flipped over, we can get straight into teaching you guys how to remove the bottom bracket and put a new one on. So the first step is undo these 2 pinch bolts. There's one here, one right here, and there's also one right here. So undo them too. Alright guys, as you saw, I did remove both of the pinch bolts. Over here now guys, it is important to keep all your stuff together just so you don't lose anything, because knowing me, I'll lose everything, so I always like to keep stuff together. Now guys, when you do remove these pinch bolts, you want to make sure that there's the little washer on both of them. So there's one washer on this one and there's one washer on this one, just because they are very important washers. Also guys, when these are off, it might be a good idea to give them a good clean because this has grease on it and stuff like that. It's all just dirty and not nice. Like, look inside that. My camera can't even focus on it just because of how dirty it is. Yeah, it's kind of disgusting. So later we'll get that clean, but for now, let's remove the compression bolt. Now guys, the compression bolt is this thing right here, and what you need to remove that is this thing which comes on the bottom bracket tool. So what you do is you just put this into here, match it up with the threads, and obviously you turn it in here, you grab it and then you turn it like this, just like that. And it shouldn't be too tight, and as you can see guys, it comes off pretty easy, and just like that guys, it's off. Now guys, remember what I said, keep all your bolts and stuff like that together. So this is going to go over here with the other 2 pinch bolts. Now guys, this crank arm here can sometimes be hard to come off, or sometimes it might just slide off. So I'm going to try and slide it off. If it doesn't slide off, I'm going to use some force, but it should just slide off because I built this bike by myself, so I didn't put it on too tight. So yeah, it should just slide off. yeah, just like that. But guys, if your one don't slide off like my one did, just get a hammer and just hammer it off. But guys, it won't do nothing to your threads, don't worry. If you have to hammer it off because you're not gonna get it off otherwise. But yeah, my one slid off luckily. So now we can move on to getting the other crank arm off. Alright guys, so now you wanna come over to this side. You wanna get this chain off, just like this. Get the chain off completely. Get off over the pedal and just leave it over here because we don't need to do anything with the chain today. And now guys, this one might be the harder one to come out because, yeah, this one's gonna be the harder one to come out. So we're gonna use the hammer. Get your hammer and just hammer it off. So go on this side like this. Hammer it a little bit and it should just come off like that. Also guys, I did forget to mention that on the first crank arm we took off, there is this little thing that goes in between this little, like, I don't know what you call it, like a somewhat of a spacer. But guys, make sure you put that back on when you install it because it has to be there. I don't know why, but it just has to be there. Alright guys, so we have now got to the fun part. This is the part where we take the bottom bracket off. Now guys, usually what I do is I take the drive side off first, just because this side is going to be the long bit that comes out and this side is, like, I don't know, the other short bit, you know, the little, like the shorter bit of the bottom bracket. So yeah, this is the bit that has a long bit on it and this is the short bit of the bottom bracket. So always take the drive side off first. This should be the side with 2 spaces on it. So yeah, let's take the bottom bracket off. First things first, I've got to unbox this because for the XC bottom bracket you need an adapter because of how small it is. So let's unbox it. This is the new bottom bracket. Let's take all of this out. Alright, cool. Here's the adapter that we need. This little thing right here. Let's take this out of the packaging. Don't think that was good. So guys, this is the thing that we need, the adapter for the XT bottom bracket, because as you can see, let me show you real quick. This ting right here is too big for this, as you can see. So we put this adapter onto here like that, so it can fit way better. Alright guys, so I just looked back at my recording skills and it weren't very good just then. So what I was trying to explain is, this thing right here is obviously too big for the bottom bracket because it doesn't, you know, doesn't fit. That's why you need an adapter which just slides onto here like that. But yeah, that's only if you have an XC bottom bracket. If you guys have the original C100 bottom bracket, you won't need the adapter. All you will need is this bottom bracket tool. You just slide on and then you undo it. But yeah, enough of me waffling. Let's get this bottom bracket off. Actually guys, one more thing. Before I let you guys go and take the bottom bracket off, make sure you guys take the bottom bracket off as slowly as possible. Now what I mean by that is, don't go at it at different angles and try and unscrew it at an angle because that will thread your bottom bracket. And we don't want it to happen, so make sure you're doing it slowly, make sure you're taking your time because this needs patience. But yeah, now we can get into taking the bottom bracket off. Put this adapter on, just like this. Make sure it matches up with the other threads on here. Make sure it pushes it all the way on. Make sure it's on there good so you don't thread the bottom bracket as you're taking it off. Alright guys, so that's on there really good. So now we can take the bottom bracket off. Also guys, one more thing. These bottom brackets like to come off a certain way. Like on this one you can see the arrow that says right to tighten. So you obviously want to do the opposite. You want to unloosen it. So make sure you guys follow the arrow and unloosen it the other way where the arrow is not pointing, because if you try and tighten it even more, the bottom bracket is going to get stuck in the frame and yeah, it's not going to be a happy day for you. First side of the bottom bracket off. Now let's go to the other side and get the other side off. Second side of the bottom bracket off. Alright guys, so as you can see, the threads inside my bottom bracket are in really good condition. I'll give you a little closer look. They're in really good condition except for the fact that it's pretty dirty in there, but we'll give that a clean. But yeah, the threads on both sides are in great condition, so we are ready to install the new bottom bracket. But first, let's clean the whole of the inside because it's too dirty. Alright guys, so I just finished cleaning the bottom bracket area of my bike. As you can see, it's pretty clean. You know what I'm saying? Both sides are looking pretty decent. This side, there's a lot of old oil in it, that's why it just won't come off, but it is clean. My hands are very dirty, but yeah, it's very clean inside there. As you can see, you know what I'm saying, it's looking all beautiful and that. So yeah, now is where we get to the interesting part and the fun part. We get to put the bottom bracket back on. But now guys, before we put the bottom bracket back on, we're going to do some cleaning. So what you're going to do, guys, is clean your crank arms, both of them, because my one's looking like this, and I'll show you your ones are definitely looking like this as well, or are close to looking like this, because you can't clean this when it's on the bike, you know what I'm saying? It's a hard spot to reach. So yeah, clean your bolts, you know what I'm saying? Clean all of them. Also clean this compression bolt as well as, but yeah, I want to do all of that, and I'll come back to you guys. Alright guys, so finally after 20 minutes, I finally cleaned everything that needs to be cleaned. But guys, as you can see, it's not the cleanest obviously, yeah, but it's cleaner than it was, you know what I'm saying? It's looking red now. And also, this other crank arm, you know, it's looking clean, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's good enough for me. Obviously, all the grease is wiped off of here. As you guys can see, it's beautiful, you know what I'm saying? It looks amazing. But yeah, now we can actually get to installing the new bottom bracket. Alright guys, so now we can finally unbox the new bottom bracket. So, I'm unboxing this side first, just because, you know, why not? Also guys, the new bottom bracket does come with grease already on it, so try to keep some of that grease on there, but we're going to put more in there because, you know, it needs more grease than that. But yeah, there's grease on it, as you can kind of tell. Yeah, there's a lot of grease on it already, so don't over grease it as well. That's very important. Do not over grease it, otherwise a lot of dirt's going to collect up on your bottom bracket. It's just going to go to crap again. So yeah, don't put too much grease on there. But as you can see, this bottom bracket is so fresh. Now guys, for this side, make sure you guys have the new spacers that come with the bottom bracket, and make sure 2 spacers go on the drive side. So the one that looks like this, put 2 spacers on there. So just put them on just like that. So it's on there like that. So now we can unbox this side, just like this. Other side is unboxed, and as you can see, it's fully greased up. So what you want to do is put 1 spacer on this one, just like that. Alright guys, so now we have to grease the threads we just cleaned. So these threads right here, we have to re-grease them just because there's no grease on it right now. So yeah, I want to grease this up right now. Alright guys, so the threads are now fully greased up. As you can see, there's a lot of grease on there. I know I put a bit too much, but it is what it is. Come over this side, a lot of grease is there as well. So yeah, now we're ready to install the bottom bracket, so let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so the bottom bracket is pretty much on now. This side is not fully on yet, but as you can see, it's perfectly lined up, so it's not going to go in threaded. All we've got to do now is tighten it down all the way down, and make sure guys you don't over tighten this because that will also give you problems. So yeah, don't over tighten this because it doesn't need to be over tightened. Just tighten it down to a certain torque. I don't have a torque wrench with me, but just tighten it down so it feels tight, if that makes sense. So yeah. Alright guys, one side to the bottom bracket is now fully on. As you can see, it's on there pretty well, you know what I'm saying? Didn't thread it, fingers crossed, but it shouldn't be threaded because, you know, I know what I'm doing. But yeah guys, just make sure when you put it on, pay attention to what you're doing. Don't thread the bottom bracket, don't do it too tight, and also don't do it too loose, otherwise it will come loose when you're riding, and it will thread the insides of the bottom bracket, and you guys don't want that either. So not too tight, not too loose. But yeah, now you guys pretty much know what we're going to do next. We're going to throw this side on. So yeah, let's get that side on now. Alright guys, so this side of the bottom bracket is now going on. Lefty tighty, tighten it with your hand as much as you can. That's about as much as I can do with my hand because all of this grease on my hands. So yeah, now let's get the tool and tighten it up fully, and I'll get back to you guys when that's fully done. Alright guys, so both sides are now on. Nothing looks better than a fresh bottom bracket. Look how clean that looks. But yeah, now we're going to put the cranks back on, so let's get straight into that. Make sure to grease this up before we put it back on. This is where you use the hammer. Make sure it's on there really well. Don't watch all this mess. Time to put this on. Make sure you put it on the opposite way to where the other one's facing because, you know, you can't really ride around like this, can ya? So yeah, make sure you put it on that way so it's like, you know, the opposite of the other one. There we go lads. Alright guys, so now both crank arms are on there. You want to install this one, this bolt right here on first. This is what's going to bring the crank arms closer together. So install this first. Make sure you don't thread anything, you know what I'm saying. Make sure this goes on properly. Alright guys, so this bolt is now on here. It's on there pretty tight, but not too tight, just so it can spin. But I tighten mine a little bit more. A little tip for you comboers, tighten it a little bit more just so your cranks stop spinning, you know what I'm saying. So when you combo, it just stops there, you know what I'm saying. So yeah. Now we're going to install this little thing that came out of it, this little washer. So what we're going to do is just shove it back in there like that. just like that, and then we can put the bolts back in. So make sure to grease up the bolts and put the bolts back in from when they came from. I'll come back to you guys when I've done it. Alright guys, so I just installed the last 2 bolts to bring this whole thing together, and voila, it's all done. Now all that's left is to put this chain back on. Yeah, you just gotta throw this chain back on, just like that, you know, bring it over here. It's gonna be a little bit hard to do one hand, but let's try one hand. Okay, use your knee as a little bit of help here. I'm saying do this, alright, and then do that, and happy days. You know, the gears are a little bit like that, but that's a new bottom bracket installed. Alright guys, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn notifications on. If you guys want some more mechanic tutorials, let me know down in the comment section. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video with hopefully clean hands. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.